All right, guys, today we are diving into Week 8 preview. We are going to be talking about some of the key takeaways from Week 7, bleeding into Week 8 with a Thursday night preview, as well as who we're firing up and who we're quitting this week. Guys, don't forget to follow, share, like across all social media platforms, Frankly Fantasy Football. We love you guys. Let's dive in.
All right. Welcome to the show. This is the Frankly Fantasy Football Podcast. We are your hosts, Frankie and Johnny. Frankie, welcome in, brother. Did you make it through as the Fantasy Reaper just completely terrorized you this week or what? How you doing?
He came in, John. He tried to, get a little bit of shit going on. I put his ass outside. And you know what, man? I won 4 out of my 5 leagues. Feeling good heading into Week 8, baby.
I won all 5 of my leagues. I needed to actually, no, I won 4 out of 5. There's one league that I think I'm just done. I can't do anything else, Frankie. I'm so good at digging out of a hole. I've been digging all goddamn, it's been 7-8 weeks of digging, baby. And you know what? Some of these teams I'm turning around. I'm making the right moves. You got to be active like we talk about. But man, there's one league. There's nothing I can do. I've just taken too many beatings. I've lost too many guys. I feel those of you out there that have teams like that, I feel for you, man. I do this every day. I do a goddamn podcast, for Christ's sake. And I'm just looking at the team going, I don't know what else I can do at this point. There's nothing I can trade. There's nobody I have enough value of to give. I've lost too much. What are you going to do, man? But you keep fighting, baby, right? You keep putting in the lineups. You keep fighting. You keep playing the waiver wire, and you be an active owner, right?
That's right. Don't give up. Keep going. And John, that's a perfect segue for your team. Unfortunately, you have gotten just the Reaper has came. It feels like every week for that particular team, but you did make a ballsy trade and I liked it. And it was Amari Cooper. You got Amari Cooper giving away Tyreek Hill. Very, very, very interesting trade, John. I personally liked it. It's going to be, we'll see what happens.
You got to do something, man.
Got to do something.
Keep fighting, guys. Keep fighting is the point. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Please don't forget, follow us on social media. I know we do the episode every week, but we clip out all the stuff with our starts and sits and funny moments and things. It's all over social media. So look for us, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at Frankly Fantasy Football, and X at Frankly Fantasy F. And we know you all listen. We see all the stats. That's great. Listen because it's great information. But guys, you got to watch on YouTube. Watch the videos, the shorts, everything's there. Frankly Fantasy Football. All right, let's go, Frankie. Let's get into some news, baby. News and notes. This news segment, Frankie, we're definitely going to be bringing the bell out. I want to try to get some positive news to start off so we don't just sit here and cry the entire news segment.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp, good news coming here. We're going to see Cooper Kupp again. Looking to return this week on Thursday Night Football versus the Vikings. Very excited for that. Frankie, there's some interesting things out there in the ether right now regarding Cooper Kupp. Some trade talks a little bit here. Why don't you break that down? Put your GM hat on for a minute. Break it down for us.
Guys, GM hat coming on. Cooper Kupp right now, the Rams are shopping him, and what they're asking for, they're willing to pay. Sources are saying they're willing to pay for some of the salary. In addition, they're looking for a 2nd-round pick. So that is a high price tag for a guy who's been beaten up, battered, and everything like that in terms of injuries. Also, it's not that bad, though, if you're a contender looking and needing a guy immediately, John. So if you're thinking about, maybe a team that has a little bit of red, maybe a little bit of arrows pointing around in the direction. I'm talking about the Chiefs, guys, at Arrowhead. That could be absolutely what they're missing, especially with, we're going to talk about Juju, but Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, and a lot of these other guys, they just keep going down. Isaiah Pacheco, they need somebody else. John, this could be really cool. But for sure, they are actively shopping Cooper Kupp at this point in time.
I think it's a great move for him. They've got a very young team. The oldest guys on the team are Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp. So I think it's a great move for them. They can get a 2nd-round pick out of it. You know they're serious when they're saying that they're willing to take some of his salary as well, because they understand how difficult that would be to make that trade. But man, I love it. Hey, hold on to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
He goes to Kansas City, baby. Holy shit, would that be beautiful? Not likely he's going to go to a shit team. I don't think we have to worry about that. Why would you pay for a guy at that age, take on the rest of his contract, give up a second-round pick? If you're building a team, it's not what's going to happen. It's somebody who's going to be a contender making a play for the Super Bowl. So in that vein, he's going to a good quarterback, highly likely. Hold on to Cooper Kupp. Would you even trade for Cooper Kupp? Is he a trade for candidate?
Definitely. For me, I mean, if you have, here's the thing, guys, you got to be able to, in case something happens, you've got to be able to sit on him for a little bit. If you have that capability, then hell yeah, you can try to trade for him. If not, just sit. Just sit on him. If you have him, don't worry about the trade. See how this pans out. Maybe his value shoots up even more after the Thursday night if he plays, John, or if he gets traded, right? We talked about the Chiefs, the Ravens, right, with some of the issues with Zay Flowers, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, there is a list of guys that it could make sense for. So, yeah.
Basically everybody in the AFC North but the Browns. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
love hearing that.
Sweet. Love it.
Yeah. I love when superstar receivers are available and Pittsburgh makes a play for every single one.
Every single one of them.
Every single one of them. Damn it. All right, Thursday Night Football. We're also probably going to see TJ Hawkinson. Keep an eye on that Wednesday night, Thursday morning, but it looks like he will be playing Thursday night. Jonathan Brooks, we're getting close, baby. He looks on track to play this week at Denver. Very difficult defense to play against. I'm not at all suggesting to start Jonathan Brooks. I just know as somebody who's been sitting on him for 7 weeks, I can't wait to see this sumbitch on the field. You know, this is not the week to play him. Keep an eye on it, see how he does, see how he looks. Look for a better matchup in the future, but good things to come. I know we all need running backs, so give me one, baby. Curtis Samuel, wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills, hurt his shoulder early in the game and was ruled out. Deshaun Watson, I don't want to spend a lot of time here, Frankie. I know we can spend all day on this, but Deshaun Watson has a torn Achilles, will miss the rest of the season. Browns signed Bailey Zappi. Cool. God, I hope he's never on the field. I really do. What are we looking at here, Frank? They brought out DTR. Jameis Winston was actually ruled out of the game and ended up having to bring him in because of the injury. DTR got a little banged up as well. What are the Browns' offense situation? I don't want to spend tons of time on this because every week we're losing fantasy value from this team. What does this do? How is this going to affect, and who can you actually consider playing?
This week, especially, John, there's two guys. It's going to be Cedric Tillman and it's going to be David Njoku. David Njoku is a must start, John, dare I say a top 5 play moving forward due to his A, high ceiling, and B, extremely high floor with now Amari Cooper gone, now with Jameis Winston coming in, and obviously that is his go-to guy right now, and we saw that. So for me, man, you got to be looking at David Njoku. And honestly, he could be a very good trade for candidate. And I do like Cedric Tillman to see what happens after this particular week.
14 targets can't be ignored from a tight end, man. He and Brock Bowers are the two guys that I think are just absolutely dominating with the loss of the star receivers on their teams, man. Yeah. Okay, moving on here. Jameson Williams, it's bad enough we had all these goddamn injuries this week to receivers. Now I got Jameson Williams popping out of nowhere with a 2-game suspension that does start this week. He's going to be out for the next 2 weeks. It violated the NFL's PED policy. His response was, hey, I'm not going to argue it. I don't agree with it, but I'm going to take it on the chits. Don't look any more deeper into this stuff, man. I mean, the guy PEDs, he got suspended last year 4 games for gambling. It's just like, dude, get on the field, man. What are you doing? You're going to be without Jameson Williams. Frankie, is there anybody that can step up and maybe look at a flex start for you on this Detroit Lions team besides Amon-Ra?
Definitely, guys. Tim Patrick, Khalif Raymond, one of those guys are going to end up hitting for the flex. I would probably lean towards a little bit more Tim Patrick just because of the way that he's operated so far. He's definitely been getting the ball a little bit. He's like, 3-4 receptions and, anywhere between 4 or 30 and that 60-yard mark. So for me, I mean, this is just going to be an uptick for the next 2 weeks. So if you desperately need somebody, maybe you got a couple guys out, you could look to Tim Patrick.
I think it's going to throw some more targets towards Jahmyr Gibbs' way as well.
And Sam Laporta.
Laporta may be the biggest beneficiary here. I mean, we saw last year without Jameson Williams or him just getting established in the offense, that's where Laporta ate. So that's a very good point. It could be arrows pointing up for Laporta, which I know all the Laporta owners have to be freaking out right now. What is he, the tight end 17? I think he is currently. Yeah,
It's
not
bad.
good. No bueno. All right, Shane Steichen of the Indianapolis Colts, head coach, quote, very optimistic about JT returning this week. So Jonathan Taylor should be good to go this week. Keep an eye on it towards the end of the year or end of the week. Juju Smith-Schuster left the game with a hamstring, and he will miss this week. We talked about that Chiefs receiving core, missing Hollywood Brown, missing Rashee Rice. Now you got Juju Smith-Schuster out and Pacheco out. And this team's 6-0.
Unbelievable.
It's 6-0. And Patrick Mahomes is the QB 24, maybe?
Yep.
So something along those. Go figure, man. I mean, this is just what good football teams do, right? Yeah. Okay, Aiden O'Connell, quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders, expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks with a broken thumb. So we're going to continue at least for the next month with the dirtbag Frankie, the guy stealing the carburetors and copper piping out of your basements with Gardner Minshew starting. Really, man, what this has done in this receiving core, is there anybody that you can start besides Brock Bowers? Maybe Jacoby if you're hurting.
If he gets healthy, maybe Jacoby. And that's literally where it starts and ends, man.
Yeah, it's rough. Rough over there in Vegas these days, man. All right, good news here. Tua to practice. Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, to practice this week and is expected to play versus Arizona. Is this just green lights and thumbs up for everybody on the team now?
Yes, and yes. Can't wait.
I mean, could you make an argument for Tua being the MVP just based on seeing him with the team and seeing him without the team? Would that be funny?
I mean, dude, it's drastically different. I mean, it is awful. Like what's been going on with Tyler Huntley and Skylar Thompson and everything in between. So yeah, man, they're in a weird roundabout way. You could make an argument.
Those of you that have been patient and held on to Tyreek and held on to Waddle and held on to Mostert and Achane, better days ahead. Should be good. And better team to come back and play than the Arizona Cardinals in my mind. So fire up all your Miami Dolphins and hopefully you should be able to enjoy that. All right, Demario Pop Douglas, wide receiver for the New England Patriots, left the game with an illness. Keep an eye on him. Taysom Hill has a chance to play this week, which would be fantastic. With all these injuries and the way the tight end landscape has looked, I'd love to throw Taysom Hill in there and say, fuck it, why not? Let's see what happens here, man. They have no receivers on this team at all. They lost Rashid Shaheed. Chris Olave, still in concussion protocol. I got a little bit of news here while we're on him. Let's talk about it here. Chris Olave still in a concussion protocol. You're going to have to keep an eye on that later this week, guys. We said every concussion's different and when it happens and the timeline, so you're going to have to pay attention to that. Derek Carr will not be playing. He's been throwing a little bit. He's going to be evaluated this week, but it's likely not to be Carr this week. And they did sign MVS, Frankie.
Nice.
All right. I was just thinking the Saints need another guy to do some cardio. That's awesome. Can you start any receiving options on the New Orleans Saints right now?
No, I mean, we talked about it last week. Maybe if you want a Hail Mary, like throw a dart at the wall, maybe Bob Means. But I mean, dude, no, it's Alvin Kamara and that's it. That's Alvin Kamara. And even at that point, Alvin Kamara hasn't been right with Spencer Rattler. So it's tough sledding, man, if you're a Saints fan or if you own any Saints.
Yes, it is. All right, let's go over to San Francisco for a minute and look at this bloodbath.
It has to be better there.
Got to be better, right? The Saints have no receivers. Surely the Shanahan offense has some receivers, right? Brandon Ayuk, torn ACL, MCL, will miss the rest of the season. This one's brutal, man. I had a lot of shares of Brandon Ayuk. I was trying to move him because I thought his value was peak after 2 weeks ago when he had a monster game. Couldn't get the deal done. Some bitch, now I'm going to lose him, man. This is tough. Deebo Samuel also dealing with an illness. He came into the game sick, tried to play through it. Actually hospitalized on Monday with pneumonia-like fluid in his lungs. Keep an eye on him. That does not sound good. I do not see him recovering this quickly for something like that and being able to play, but keep an eye on it. Also, George Kittle had a foot sprain. He's day-to-day right now. Jauan Jennings Missed last week with a hip. He should be back this week. We're going to talk about him a little bit later, but we got Kittle banged up day to day. Debo was in the hospital on Monday, and Ayuk's out for the season. So we're going to try to dig through this mess, guys, and try to come up with some ideas of what we can do here. One guy that is interesting, if you haven't picked him up off your waiver wires now, look at Ricky Pearsall. Ricky Pearsall is back. He's with the team. He got a little bit of play last week, but they're going to need him. He was a first-round pick. Yeah, what was he picked? Could be interesting, could just be addition by subtraction for Ricky Pearsall. But Jauan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall seem to be the top 2 targets right now going into this week. All right, staying with San Francisco once again, CMC. We got to check in on him every week. You know, I mean,
Every
see
week.
how you day.
Gotta
How
pop
you
in.
doing, Christian? You okay? CMC likely to be back after the week 9 bye. So week 10 is what we're looking at right now for CMC. DK Metcalf, wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks, left the game. He's got a grade 1 MCL sprain and is week to week. This one doesn't make me happy. I've got DK as well. But, you know, we're probably looking at a 2 to 4 week timetable for him. Keep an eye on that. It's DK. He's a freak of nature. He could be back sooner, but likely to miss this week and potentially next week. All right, let's go over to Tampa Bay. Let's see. I think they're going to be okay, right? No? No. Doesn't look like it. We've got Hurricane Evans here. Left the game with a hamstring injury. According to Todd Bowles, he's expected to be out until after the week 11 bye. So brutal. Not looking at Mike Evans coming back until about week 12. Chris Godwin, he will have ankle surgery and he is going to miss the rest of the season. Just brutal, man. Frankie, how did you were really paying attention to Chris Godwin last night? That was quite the emotional roller coaster. You want to explain?
Sure. Can't wait. Oh, man. Yeah. Well, guys. Well, first off, I want to clarify something. Ricky Pearsall, John, just confirmed 31st overall pick. So there we go. 31. Going back to Chris Godwin here. Yeah. So I've been, in a group of 20 of us buddies. We've been in a same group text for literally 2 decades. Okay. We all decided we're going to do a anytime touchdown parlay. Guys, it boiled down on the 8-legger. Okay. It boiled down to Chris Godwin. We're talking on let's just hypothetically say it was a $10 bet. Let's then hypothetically say then the output was $3,000 and it all goes on Chris Godwin. And that's sack of shit. That left tackle, when he got that call back, John, I swear to God, my wife thought the house was burning. Running through the house, I was so excited. And then she goes, babe, I'm so sorry. I go, don't you fucking say that. Don't you say that. And dude, I came in and I ended up leaving her with my kids upstairs and walked downstairs and threw myself a pity party. And I sat there and watched the game and then he snaps his ankle. So I feel for you, Godwin. And I feel for all of us that took the bet.
To complete an 8-leg parlay, anytime touchdowns, is so difficult to do. And to have it called back on a holding.
Yeah.
$10 to win $3,000, Frankie.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. But we're doing it again this week, baby. We're back. We're going to put another one in.
That's what we like to call franking it up, right? You're going to frank that shit up this week, man. Oh, man. All right, Jaden Daniels. This one hurts me as well. I have every one of these guys, by the way, that are hurt on this report. Yeah, I love it. It's so much fun, guys. Jaden Daniels, star rookie quarterback for the Washington Commanders, left the game with a rib injury. X-rays done, no fractures. Word coming out today, this is Tuesday, we're recording this, very much in doubt for week 8. I know we were all looking forward to the Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels game. May not happen, guys. So make other plans for your quarterback because he's got Jaden Daniels. Quickly, Frankie, how badly does this affect? And we're starting finally have an opportunity to start some of the options on this team. How is this going to affect everybody for this week?
Well, John, what's interesting is Mariota came in and played really well. I mean, I'm talking he was 18 for 23. 205 yards and 2 touchdowns in the win over Carolina. The key thing there is Carolina. Okay. Right. That is not the Bears defense. So you definitely need to start up McLaurin. He's 100% a lock. You always need to start him up. John, I think you can also start up Zach Ertz. I think that's definitely seeming like a safety net for Mariota if he's in there. But what this does, man, This definitely elevates Eckler and Brian Robinson in my eyes. And I think that because they're going to need to rely on both those guys. Now, again, you got to temper expectations, right? They might not be getting the 20 points, the 18 points, the 16 points, but I could see them getting double digits again. But again, I think that between those four guys, again, McLaurin, Ertz, Brian Robinson, Eckler, right? Temper expectations, but those would be the guys I'm still firing up.
Yeah, I think you do have to count on less output than you're used to, especially from Terry McLaurin. I do think it will help Eckler. I think you will see this is a good Bears defense. They started feeling themselves on offense recently as well. Coming off a bye week, they're going to be very prepared. They may come out hot, and I think that's going to help Eckler in the passing game. I think you're going to see a lot more dump offs, a lot more. If they're trailing, you'll see a lot less of Brian Robinson. So just keep that in mind. Okay. 21-day window is open for Puka Nacua. I wanted to end the news on some good news here, guys. Yeah, right? We were thinking it was going to be a little bit longer, but 21-day window's open. Puka Nacua will be on the field in the next 3 weeks, and that is great news. Excellent. All right, Frankie, what do we got this week here? We're going to look at no buys this week. How about that?
No buys.
How do we have – why does the NFL do this? Why do they set up week 8 with no buys, but then week 10's got 4 buys? We got 14 buys in week 14. It's so goddamn annoying. But at least we don't have any buys this week because that would be brutal. All right, Frankie, let's get to the Thursday night preview, man.
Heck yeah, guys. And yes, Thursday night preview, we're diving in. We got the Vikings 5-1 at the Rams, who are 2-4. Guys, before we get into the fantasy aspect and much more, just a reminder, if you're looking to put a bet on this game, you're looking to dabble a little bit with Sam Darnold, maybe a Justin Jefferson anytime tutty. Guys, check it out. We have a partnership now with that BetStamp and Sign Up Expert, which has opened up an awesome opportunity for you guys to join some of our favorite sports books to get the best odds and new user offers. How does it work? Head over to our dedicated page, right? It's signupexpert.com/frankly, and to explore a selection of sportsbooks tailored to your particular region, right? And so if you put $20 in, guys, then you will have the opportunity to get a bonus bet, things of that nature. So check it out. Again, if you don't own one of those sportsbooks, awesome. You have an opportunity for a bonus bet. With that being said, John, we're looking at the 5-1 Vikings, as I mentioned, at the Rams, who are 2-4. Let's talk about the fantasy aspect for the Vikings. You're definitely firing up Justin Jefferson. You're always firing up Justin Jefferson. Also, you're firing up Aaron Jones. And people would think that, maybe I'm going back and forth, which is a real thing. In a 10-man league, maybe you're sitting on Kamara. Maybe you also have Derrick Henry, and you also have Aaron Jones. Guys, I'm starting Aaron Jones this week for sure if I have the opportunity. In addition, Addison. I'm also looking at Jordan Addison for a flex spot. Right? So if you had it, Brandon Ayuk, if you have Deebo Samuel, if you have some of these other guys, Godwin, Mike Evans, God, we're going down the line here, right? This is certainly a guy that you can plug in at the flex, and he should be able to output, I would say, a very solid floor for you. Lastly, John, if Hawkinson plays, you're firing up Hawkinson. I know that it could be scary. I know that we haven't seen him play, but right now, man, with the tight end landscape, let's just call it what it is. Outside of Brock Bowers, outside of David Njoku, outside of Kittle and maybe Mandrews now.
Pitts has been solid.
Right?
Yeah.
There's very few is what I'm getting at. So you're not losing much by getting Hawkinson in there as well. So definitely look at Hawkinson if he's playing, man. John, I'm going to flip now to the Rams, right? The Rams have been very interesting because Matthew Stafford has actually been dog shit. He has been very, very bad from a fantasy output perspective. But who has been amazing has been Kyren Williams.
Unbelievable.
Holy shit, man. John, we were talking about it today, right? 9 games in a row of a touchdown or something along those lines. Is that correct?
9 following into at the end of last year, it was 9 straight games with a touchdown. Yeah.
9 straight games. So you're definitely firing up Kyren Williams from that perspective. If Cooper Kupp plays, of course you're firing him up as well. And here's what's interesting, though. I'm looking at Tutu Atwell. And I know we've looked at Whittington. I know we've talked about Tyler or Johnson over there and things like that. Here's the deal. And I'm going to pull up something for Tutu Atwell. He has been definitely performing a bit better than what I honestly thought, what a lot of people would have thought, right? So over the last few weeks, man, he has had, starting from week 3, right? He has had 11.3 fantasy points, 10.2 fantasy points, 9.5 fantasy points in week 5, and 8.1 fantasy points in that of last week in week 7. Again, what I'm saying is this is a flex piece, a Hail Mary that gives you a floor rather than really looking at somebody like a Bub Means or somebody like that. So target Tutu Atwell if the injuries are there. But other than that, man, I think that's where it starts and stops.
I love it. Should be a good game, man. I mean, the Vikings are legit, and the
Super
Rams,
legit.
you can never just count the Rams out. They're just so well coached. And, if they can establish the run, which I don't know if they're going to be able to, but if they can, could be an interesting game, man. Yeah. Yeah. All right, buddy, let's get to our hit it and quit it, our starts and sits of the week. Let's go. Love this song. All right, Frankie, when we're talking about hit it's and quit it's here, we got 3 hit it's, guys we want to start. We got 2 quit it's, guys we don't want to start. Frankie, who is your first hit it on the week, man?
John, my first hit it. You know what? Before I even do this, I want to give a shout out to a few of the people on TikTok, few of the people on YouTube, few of the people on Instagram that are giving us shit. Bring it on. And the reason that they're giving us shit is because they looked at one sit, John, that we had. It was George Pickens this past week. And
that was me.
I know you're gonna talk about it in a second.
Yeah.
But I wanted to let you guys know, for those listening, Johnny and I will start tallying a record, but we have absolutely hit way more than we haven't. So be sure, keep us honest here. If you think we're lying, go back and check the tape. So with that being said, we're hitting DJ Moore at Washington this week, guys. He has had double-digit fantasy points in full PPR in every single week outside of week 6. In addition to this, he's playing arguably one of the worst defenses in the NFL right now. And I'm sorry I'm laughing, but it's right up there with Carolina. It's that bad, right? And so playing a terrible defense, it should be a shootout. If Jaden Daniels plays, it's going to be a shootout. Even if he doesn't play, Caleb Williams is still going to be able to target his number 1 receiver, and it's going to be great. On top of that, DJ Moore, to give you guys insight into points per game, he's currently averaging 13.5 fantasy points a game in full PPR. Damn it, I'm taking DJ Moore, my start of the week, and let's ride into the flames, baby.
All right. Frankie, I'm going to I agree. I mean, I know I got personally brutalized on TikTok for the George Pickens sit. But listen, guys, all we're doing is we're looking at the scenario. What are all of the variables in place here? And what is the most likely outcome of these variables and what's set in front of us here? George Pickens, first of all, who knew Russ Wilson was going to be awesome cooking like he did? He looked pathetic in the preseason and did not look good, man. And we haven't seen him play well for quite a while. So wasn't expecting him to come out like that. And also to give Pickens credit, man, he's one of, if not the best, one of the best top 5 50-50 ball catchers out there in the NFL right now. He was blanketed. He was covered, and he caught those passes that were absolutely amazing. So, hey, we're fantasy analysts, guys. We're like economists, okay? We get paid to be wrong most of the time. We're going to hit on a bunch, and we're going to miss on a bunch, too. That's just how it happens. It makes it fun. But, hey, if you're the kind of guys that like to, troll people online, do it, baby. I'll take it all day long. I can handle it. Bring it on, man. It used to be hashtag fuck Frankie. You want to hashtag fuck Johnny? Bring it on, baby. But you better bring some loot. All right. My first start of the week is going out on a limb, all right? Yeah, I'm not going to take safe ones because I get criticized online. Right. No, that's not how I function, baby. I am going with Jauan Jennings, wide receiver, maybe the only wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers this week, at home against Dallas. All right, Ayuk out for the season. Debo likely out. He was sick. He just got released from the hospital on Tuesday. Kittle has a foot sprain. All right, there's going to be output in this game. Yes, they're playing Dallas, who's a good defense, but it's very, very beatable. We've seen that. When Debo was out in week 3, Jauan Jennings came on and just introduced himself to the league with 11 catches for 175 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's got chemistry with Brock Purdy. You cannot discount that. When the chemistry's there, the connection is there, it's clear we've got an idea of what this looks like already. You're not just grabbing some schmo off the waiver wire and throwing him in your lineup. We've seen him do 11 catches for 175 and 3 touchdowns. The talent's there. The opportunity will be there. He's coming off a hip injury. Make sure he's active. He's looking like he's going to be. But if he is, he will be the favorite target of Brock Purdy, and enjoy.
Yeah, baby. John, my second hit it here, man, is going to be the number 6 receiver in full PPR this year. Want to know who it is?
Yeah.
Brian Thomas Jr.,
Nice.
the rookie sensation from LSU, going to that of the Jacksonville Jags. They're playing Green Bay Packers, guys. Here's the deal. The Packers, we know Jordan Love is real. That dude is for real. That offense is for real. The team is for real. They are going to put up some points. The Jags will need to keep pace. Brian Thomas has been dominant. He has scored over 12 points in all but 2 games this year so far in PPR. In addition, he's had 11 targets in the last 2 games with 8 receptions, 116 yards, and a touchdown. Guys, I love Brian Thomas this week. Fire him up and enjoy.
Love Brian Thomas. I love seeing him do well. I ended up trading him a couple of weeks ago. Worked out as a good trade, but man, I hated seeing him go. Yeah, video on Brian Thomas Jr. right here above Frankie's head. Check it out. We did a rookie review on him, and I'm telling you, everything we said he was going to do, he's been doing. So fantastic, man. Love that start. All right, my next start here. This is a guy I've been down on all year, and you know what? He's showing me he can do it. I think you need to stay in the flames with Javonte Williams, running back for the Denver Broncos. They're at home. Guess who they're playing, guys? I wouldn't normally say stay in the flames, but the Carolina Panthers coming into Denver. All right, Javonte Williams, listen, he's going to continue this fire that he's doing right now. Running back 6 last week at New Orleans, over 6 yards a carry for Javonte Williams. They're playing Carolina at home, guys. There's not a whole lot of analysis that I need to say here. But the defense is playing lights out. They're going to really stifle this Carolina team, and they're going to be running the ball a lot. Javonte Williams may have the best game of his career this week. So start him up and feel good about it.
John, my number 3, baby, is I'm going with a guy who used to be a part of our heart, who was a Cleveland Brown favorite, who is now on the Chiefs. I'm talking about Kareem Hunt at the Las Vegas Raiders. Here is what is absolutely nuts. Kareem Hunt, since being with the Chiefs, has not had less than double-digit fantasy points in any week at all in full PPR. He's had double digits every single week. In addition to that, in the last 2 weeks alone, he's had 49 carries in 3 touchdowns. Let me repeat that. In the last 2 weeks, Kareem Hunt has had 49 carries in 3 touchdowns. And he is playing the Raiders, who are the 23rd worst against the run this year. So what this is telling me, the Raiders have no Aiden O'Connell. They have no receivers. They have basically no running backs. They have nothing. Chiefs could end up getting that score up pretty nice and high there. And what's going to happen? Game script is going to lean Kareem. So for me, man, fire up Kareem Hunt on every possible opportunity you got and enjoy.
He's going to have a big week, man. He really. Let's see. All right, my final start of the week, my final hit. Haven't been able to hit this guy yet, and I'm really excited to, man. It's Jaxon Smith-Njigba, JSN of the Ohio State University. He's playing at home against Buffalo. DK's likely to miss this week, guys. The last 4 games, JSN, 6 targets, 9 targets, 7 targets, 12 targets. He's getting targeted. Hasn't seen the end zone very much, which is why his fantasy points haven't been big, but his targets are there. His catches are there. Geno Smith right now is the QB6. Let me repeat that. Geno Smith is the QB6 right now. He's going to get him some quality targets. With DK out of the lineup, Tyler Lockett, a little bit long in the tooth. We haven't seen the juice out of him like we've seen in the past. JSN's got the juice, okay? He's going to get a lot more red zone targets and a lot more opportunity in the scoring areas with DK out. Fire him up and enjoy and give me the OH. Oh. All right. All right, Frankie, Who are we quitting this week, man? I don't like doing these because I like to
Mm.
try to stay positive, but who are we steering against this week, man?
John, this one's tough. This one's tough because it really is hard to quit this guy. It's going to be Chuba Hubbard. And as crazy as that sounds to even say that it's hard to quit Chuba Hubbard, he's been excellent.
It's been
He's the
amazing.
number 10 running back in full PPR right now. Unbelievable. Here's the problem is that they're playing at Denver, where we talked about it already. Denver's defense is so legit, John, that they have now cracked the top 10 against the run, in addition to one of the hardest places to play in Mile High. And with that being said, Carolina even struggled to get anything going against Washington. Imagine what's going to happen against this Denver defense. The other key item is if Brooks does come out and play, if there is an opportunity for him, that is going to start eating in very slowly into Chuba Hubbard's carry count. So for me, man, I'm not willing to put Chuba out there going against this particular defense and this particular team who is on fire right now, and with the potential of Jonathan Brooks coming up.
Couldn't agree with you more, man. Absolutely. All right, my first quitted here. It's just going to be the Giants running backfield. That's just what I'm going to say. Tyrone Tracy's been eating into. He's played well with Devin Singletary out. Devin Singletary's back. Tyrone Tracy, Devin Singletary eating into each other. That's a problem as it is. Let's see. Who are they playing this week? Oh, it's at Pittsburgh. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. No, you can't play these guys, man. I'm sorry. The Giants are 30th in points per game. Pittsburgh is 3rd in points allowed. This is just a terrible, terrible matchup if I've ever seen one, man. The Giants 25th in rushing yards per game as well. It's going to be brutal, guys. You cannot start these running backs. I know it's rough out there. It's tough in these streets when it comes to guys that are just healthy, and sometimes you need some bodies. I would really try to steer away from Devin Singletary and Tyrone Tracy this week.
And John, what's crazy too is for that Giants game, I mean, they benched Danny Dimes last week too. So, I mean, talk about just turmoil. I mean, that team in outside of Malik Neighbors and really Wan'Dale Robinson is just kind of like rough all around. So,
Yeah.
In terms of the offensive side. So, and Andrew Thomas is out.
Yeah. And playing at Pittsburgh, it's not a get-right game, man. It's
No.
not a get-right game.
Nope. John, my second quit it, man, is going to be Alexander Mattison this particular weekend. Guess who he's playing? He's playing. We already talked about it. When I was talking about Kareem Hunt getting that nice, juicy matchup, this guy is getting the opposite end. They're playing Kansas City, man. And here's the thing. Kansas City's defense is so damn good. We've talked about it. Patrick Mahomes is ranked 24th quarterback in fantasy football. Patrick Mahomes is having a very down year in regards to his particular expectations. He also has nobody on offense to really help him from a receiver perspective anymore. And they're still 6-0, exactly what we said earlier. So why is that? Sure, it's due to coaching. Sure, it's due to culture. And of course, it's due to efficiency by Patrick Mahomes, even though he's not really having 400-yard games and 5 touchdowns, right? But it's also due to the defense. This defense, man, is literally the 4th hardest defense to run against right now in the NFL. They are dominant in all facets of the game, whether it's the Chris Jones and the defensive line, to Nick Bolton and those guys from the linebacker, to Trent McDuffie and those guys in the secondary. They have everything in all 3 phases. And unfortunately, man, with a lot of the shit that Vegas is going through, with Aiden O'Connell being down, with Jahmyr White still getting the ball here and there with nobody to help from the receiver room. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to key in on the backs and basically say, go ahead, Gardner. Who are you going to throw it to? And guys, for me, man, I don't like this matchup whatsoever. Even though, and I got to give credit, man, Mattison has balled out the last 3 weeks. He has scored double-digit points in fantasy football in full PPR in each of the last 3 weeks. But this ain't it. So I'm quitting on Alexander Mattison this week against that of the Chiefs.
I'm so just annoyed that Andy Reid doesn't care about our fantasy teams at all. All he cares about is winning football games. I mean, come on, man. Give us some fantasy points, Andy.
Travis
what are you
Kelce?
doing?
Really? Nothing?
Put down the Waffle House menu and give us some fantasy points. Let's put down those nuggies. Fucking Walrus. God, what an amazing coach. All right, my last quitted here, man. This one hurts my soul. It does. But you know what? You don't bet with your heart, Frankie. You bet with your mind. I'm sitting Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb. I know we've waited all year to see him. We saw him last week, which was fantastic. Just a heartfelt letter to the city of Cleveland, which brought a tear to my goddamn eyes. Yeah. But I'm sorry. Looking at what we're looking at ahead here with Cleveland against Baltimore at home, in Cleveland, you can't start Nick Chubb this week, guys. Number one, he's coming off the injury. They're bringing him in and slowly bringing him in. He had 11 carries last week, 11 carries, 22 yards, and a touchdown. That was last week against Cincinnati. You can run the ball on Cincinnati, and he just wasn't able to. The game script got a little out of hand as well. But Baltimore, it's number one. It's the number one defense against the run. We had to fact check this like 3-4 times to make sure, but they are. They're the best defense against running backs. DTR or Winston at quarterback, either way, they're going to stack the box, man, because they know that the offense is in turmoil. They know we don't have any receivers other than David Njoku. They're going to be stacking this box against Nick Chubb. They will not let the Cleveland Browns run the ball. It's just not the week to expect him to make his big return. You've sat on him all year, guys. If you can afford to do it, sit on him one more week, bring him back next week, and he's going to be a superstar again. I promise you. Not this week.
I mean, this game could get ugly. Let's just call it what it is. This game, I mean, look at how well Lamar is playing, number one. And then you're thinking that, okay, game script is going to be positive. Hell no, it's not going to be positive. And then you start thinking about, okay, well, at least our, what used to be one of our strengths or core strengths as a Browns fan was our offensive line. We're going to get destroyed with their defensive line. So yeah, man, as hard as it is, that's the right call.
I'd be surprised if he gets over 10 touches total, to be honest with you. That is the show for the week. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Hope we're getting you ready and excited for week 8. Week 8. Oh my God, Frankie, this is the halfway point in fantasy football right here is week 8. Look at that. All right.
Whoa.
Hey, we got some work to do, brother. I got to hit those waiver wires, make a few trades. I got to do some shit here, man. I'm still digging, baby. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, follow us on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook at Frankly Fantasy Football, on X at Frankly Fantasy F, and on YouTube. Watch the videos and shorts, guys. It's Frankly Fantasy Football. Thank you for subscribing. We appreciate all of you. Please keep it up. Like, comment, share. Give us the comments. Give us the shit. Fact check us. Call us out if we're calling our starts and sits wrong. I don't care. I love that stuff. That means you're watching and you're paying attention. And guess what? When you talk shit online, it helps the algorithm, baby. So joke's on you. Keep bringing them to us, guys. All right. Give us some starts and sit questions for you. We can answer those all week as well. What do we have to look forward to, Frankie?
Guys, don't forget Fridays with Frankie. We're going to lay down the top 5 things you need to know for the weekend. So don't forget to tune in on that. That will be dropping on Friday evening. And that's going to encompass everything you need to know, right? The biggest things. And in addition to that, don't forget about our episode week 9 that will be dropping next week. And we're going to get you prepared heading into that playoff push. So good luck this week. Kick some ass. And I'm rooting for you.
And don't forget to support our sponsor at signupexpert.com/Frankly. Sign up for a new sports book. Put in at least a $20 bet and you'll get a little bonus. We get a little bonus. Everybody's happy. Have a great week, everyone. Let's go, baby. May the fantasy gods smile upon you. Bye.